Hi everyone, welcome back. So in this video we're going to move on from directives and we're moving into the next part of the course, which is pipes. Now for this first video I'm just going to be focusing on the ones that currently exist in Angular 2, and then after this video we'll look at creating our own and what some implications are in terms of creating our own, that kind of thing. But for this one, we're just going to focus on existing ones in Angular 2 at this stage. So, basically, Angular 2 has about 11 different pipes built into it. I'm going to go through 8 of them. The other 3 are to do with language-specific stuff, and basically the other one is to do with asynchronous. Now, I don't particularly think the asynchronous pipe is a good idea. So if you want to look that up and find out what it does, that's up to you. But essentially what it does is it kind of does what your component should be doing, but it does it in line when you're formatting, some array or property. Okay, which is not the best idea. So what is a pipe? Well, basically it's like a filter inside of Angular JS. The original, I think they were called filters, I can't remember now, but it had the same pipe syntax. And that's where they've come with the name pipe, is because you'll use a pipe after the name of the property that you'll be binding this pipe to. So let's have a look at some examples of this anyway, just to give you an idea of how this looks. So I'm going to come over to my code. What I've got here at the moment is I've got a blank project. There's nothing in it. I've come and I've cleaned out the component. I've cleaned out the HTML of the component, so literally it is blank. There is nothing here to show. So the first pipe I'm going to focus on is the date pipe. Okay. So first I'm going to come here. I'm going to create a heading, date formats, because basically what a pipe does is it formats your properties. And what I'll do is I'll say, for H2, I'll go culture specific. And if you don't know what I mean by culture specific, basically whatever we format dates in the browser, based on where you're from, how the dates present themselves will look slightly different. Okay, same as currency, same as decimals and numbers, and so on and so forth. All right. For me, mine's going to look very closely to the US type. So anyone that's listening from this on the US should get something very similar to me. If you're in India or France or anywhere else, you may get a different representation of what I'm about to do. So I'm going to create a paragraph now, and basically I'm going to go through all the different options you can have for this date pipe. Okay. So before I do that, I'm going to come into the back end and I'm going to create myself a property. I'm going to call it, I don't know, I'll just call it standard date. Alright. And what I'll set it to is to a new date. And inside of this date, I'll set basically all the parameters. So 2017 is the year. Currently today it's March the 4th. And it's 11:59. And we'll say 5 seconds and 100 milliseconds or so. I don't know, I'm just making that last bit up. But we've got ourselves a date, right? We're going to format this date in a number of different ways based on different formats we can use with this date pipe. So let's have a look at some options for this. So what I'm going to write now is I'm going to come back over to my HTML as I've got here, and I'm going to go, what's the default date format? Right. And how we can write this is we use our interpolation. I'm going to grab the standard date that I just created. Then we use a pipe, like so. This is saying I want to use a pipe. I'm not sure which one yet until I specify which pipe that is. And in this case, I'm going to call it date. So I'm going to use the inbuilt date pipe. So I'll save that. I'll come over. And you'll see I've got the default date format, which has taken my date and it's converted it to this kind of format of 3 letters for the month, 1 or 2 digits for the day, and then 4 digits for the year. Okay, that's the default for my machine. For your machine, it might be a little bit different. but just take that into consideration, and that's why I've got culture specific here. This is how it's formatted for me on my machine. So the next one, I'm going to put a BR at the end of this, and I'm pretty much just going to do some copy and paste work here. Now, that's all well and good, but we didn't really have much control of the format of the date on that one. It was kind of just built in, right? So what we want to do is we want to use different kinds of formats. Now, there's a number of different built-in formats for the date one, and the one I'm going to put here is medium. So we're using the medium format, and then I'll just come into date. And then what you do if you want to like parameterize your pipe, you usually have a colon, and then the first parameter, whatever that pipe is, will be what you specify here. So there happens to be a constructor for the date pipe that allows a string that specifies what kind of date format we want. I'm going to type the word medium here, right, and see what comes out. And you must have the colon after the word date, and you must specify medium in a string, okay, for this to work. So save. And we've got the medium format, so this does a little bit more stuff. It does the same March 4, 2017, except now it splits out the time as AM. Okay. And also keep in mind, it takes into consideration the local, your local time. So if I put in the date, which I put in at 11:59, 5:10, at 5, it's basically using my local time and spitting that straight out. And it's always going to use your local time. So whatever date I be here, they'll consider local time. It's not going to do any conversion or anything like that, because I'm just using a new date object straight out of the box. If you want to know more about how it converts to different regions and time zones and stuff, I could do an advanced video on that. But for the moment, I just want to talk about date formats. Next one, well, they're all pretty similar from here. So there's a short format, like so. So type short and save, and basically the short one is, this is the 3rd month, the 4th day, and it's 2017 at 11:59 AM. Now I'm getting American format for my browser. That's just because of the way my browser's set up. But basically in Australia it should be 4th of the 3rd, 2017. But I just haven't been bothered changing the settings, so I get American format. Next one. So they're basically what we refer to as date and time dates. Now we can actually specify different versions of just the date itself. So we've got a full date, like so, and this will show like a really long date. So we come in and you get Saturday, March 4, 2017. It's like, it even tells you what day it is, not just the date. Next one will not have the Saturday part. It should just have the rest of it, which is basically a long date. Long date. Save. That would be the only difference, is that it has March 4, 2017. So it has the word March. That's the key, okay, for a long date. For a medium date, you'll probably get Ma, not March, because that's how they pretty much cut these things down. They just remove a few letters and numbers and stuff. So we'll put in the medium date. Come over, and you see March 4, 2017. And for the short date, it'll be the same as short above, except it won't include the time. So, the short date, choose just the short date, just to have it display correctly on the screen. And come over, and it's compiling, and there we go. So it looks the same as the one up here, except the only difference is we don't have the time specified after it, okay? Now, they're all dates. What if you just want the time? There's two formats for the time. based on these default string properties. So I'm just going to grab 2 here. I'm just going to paste, and I'll remove that last BR. So you can go medium time and short time. So medium time and short time. Save. And these are the formats that you get, okay? So this one doesn't include seconds. This one includes seconds. That's the only distinction between the two. Now, all of these are actually culture specific and predetermined. We can't specify the format in any way. We can only call it the way that we see it, okay? What if we want to create our own? There's actually two ways to do this. All right, so I'm going to create another header here. I'll just go H2 and we'll go manually set. And now we can, what I'll do is I'll show you how you can manually set these. All right. So I'm going to put a specified date format, standard date, and then after this we're still going to specify it's a date, but the parameter we're going to pass in now is the format that we want the date to be in. So for me, I'm going to go year, and if you don't understand date formats, that's beyond the scope of this video. Look them up, and it's all JavaScript stuff. These conventions are still following the JavaScript date conventions, so nothing is special here to Angular. But I've put here year dash month dash date, and so that should print out that format as specified right there. Oops, BR slash. We'll have a look at that quickly, and there it is: year, month, day. And that's usually the kind of format that people like to pass around, with like the time after it as well, for, you know, sending across time zone specific dates. But for me, I'm just specifying the date format at this stage. Now the other way you can do this is you can actually use a function or return it. So return from a component. So I can go standard date, and then I can go date is equal to, and then I can specify a getter in my component that will have the date format in which I want for this, right? So if I come and I grab this and I go up to my component, I can create a get property like so that returns the format that I want. Okay, so in this case, I'm gonna do, let's see, what do I want to do? What if I just go day slash month slash year like so? Right. We'll come back over to the code, and you can see day slash month slash year, and that came from my component. That did not come from defining it here inline. And that might be a better way, really, because you may want to change the formatted date, you know, later on down the track. And you may even want to write a unit test that determines what the format is, just to confirm it's the right format. So generally this might be a good way to do it, as opposed to running inline where you have no control of the format. Okay, so that's pretty much the date pipe. There's many more pipes to go, obviously, there's a ton of them. The next one I'll show you, which is pretty easy, is the uppercase one. So there's an uppercase pipe, and you can probably guess straight away what this is. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's going to convert whatever I give it to uppercase. So let's go P here, we'll go, this is and I'm going to create a property called uppercase message, and we'll go sentence. Right, I'll come into the back end and I'll just create this and just put the word uppercase in lowercase. And if you think about it, I have to put it in lowercase so we can see it in uppercase. I'll go over to the result. You'll see at the moment it's still lowercase, so we need to apply that uppercase pipe. and that's pretty easy. Just come in here, you got pipe, uppercase, all in lowercase, believe it or not. Like so. Save that, come back over, and when it loads, you now see that that's in uppercase. Similar to uppercase, obviously there's a lowercase one. That shouldn't have said update, that should be uppercase message, and therefore this should be lowercase. Like so, put that lowercase, and then instead of saying update, we should say upper message. I'm going to copy this, I'm going to paste, I'm going to make this lowercase within uppercase. I'm going to change this from upper to lower, and then I think I've done everything here. So lowercase message, I've set the pipe to lowercase, which is written in lowercase, and that should be all good to go. And you can see the word lowercase is in lowercase. Cool. So that's those three. There's still a few more to go. The next one I want to show is to do with decimals. So you can do different formats for numbers. So if you get a number and you want to format it using decimal numbers, you can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over to the code. I'm going to create a property down here. I'm going to call it money. And we'll say 2,550 bucks. And we'll also create one called pi. Or do I want to? Actually, no, money can be for currency, sorry. We'll use pi, which is 3.14. What are we going to go? 1592. We'll do that. Okay, so it's a number that has one number to the left of the decimal point, and then it has 6 digits to the right of the decimal point. Okay. So the next thing we do is we're going to come over to the code. Oops, sorry. Come over to the code here, and I'm going to create another section underneath here, and I'll just go decimal. Now it's called decimal, but it's applied with a pipe called number, which is kind of weird that they called it a decimal pipe, but they did what they did. Now for this one, I'm going to write a lot of content because if I don't write all this information, it won't make sense. This is a number that has the default value of 1 decimal to the left side and a minimum of 0 digits to the right of the decimal point, and with a maximum of 3 decimal digits to the right. Sounds like a lot there, but basically what I'm about to show you is the default implementation for the decimal one, which I'm going to take pi and I'm going to apply the number pipe. So by default, out of the box, when you apply the number pipe, it only allows a minimum of 1 number to the left, so you can have more than 1 number to the left. It's not forcing you to have, less or 1 and only 1. It's the minimum of 1. Alright, so you can't have anything less than that, which kind of makes sense. And then to the right, it's either, you either have no digits to the right, so it's like a whole number, or you can have up to 3 decimal numbers. So by rights, because I'm using 3.141592, it should just print out 3.141. Though it may do 142 because it does tend to round up. So let's see what happens anyway. So let's save that. We'll come over, we'll come down, and it has rounded up. So we've got 3.142. Though you'll understand it was 14159 if you look at the code. See? So So it has rounded up because it's detected the 1.5, and that's higher, or the 5 here is higher than 4, so therefore it's rounded this up from 1 to 2. Okay, that's all it's doing. So the next one I want to show, which is another copy-paste job, is that was the default. Now we're going to actually specify our own format. And the format we're going to use is, this is a number that allows for a minimum of 1 decimal place. So this is a number that allows the minimum of 1 decimal place to the left side, and 5 decimal places to the right. Now keep in mind that if you look at the original number, there's actually 6 to the right. So what we're going to miss out on here is the final 2 digit, okay, when we've done our formatting. Now at the moment it's still using the default, so let's come in and fix that. So how to do that? Well, it's the same colon representation that you had for the date. You know, so this is kind of how you pass parameters into pipes. So I'm going to specify a string here, and it basically goes with the number of digits to the left. Alright, so you specify as the first part of this formatted string the number of digits to the left, then it's a dot, then it's the minimum number of digits to the right, which we're saying that it has to be 5, so the minimum is 5, right? Then it's a dash, right, to indicate now it's up to a certain value. So the number we put in next is the maximum number it can have to the right, which we also want to be 5 because we want to restrict it to 5 digits. So let's put in the 5. So hopefully that makes sense. So you end up with 1.5-5. And as I do more of these, you'll understand the format more, I hope. But by rights, we should get 3.14159 without the 2. So let's check that out. And that's exactly what we get. Okay, without the 2. So that's pretty cool. And just to be clever and show you what it's like, we can force the number of digits on the left to be a minimum of 2 digits, and even though pi is only ever going to be 1, we can still force it to have 0, 3. So how do we do that? Well, basically it's very similar to this. You know, minimum of 2 decimal places to the left, and then basically we just come in here and we change this to 2, right? Because this number represents the number of digits on the left. This is the minimum on the right, and this is the maximum on the right. And now if we save that, we should now see 03.1415, whatever. And it's not coming up, I'm not sure why. What have I done here that's different? So 5 decimals to the right. That's very interesting. I'm surprised that's not working. Well, it's not even displaying, so just going to stop the run it again. It's like it wasn't detecting the changes, so I'm going to see if I stop it and rerun it. Hopefully it will detect the change. And when I refresh, and it still hasn't shown it. Okay. I'm going to have to get back to you. Hey guys, I'm back. Not sure what happened there. I think maybe it just wasn't updating in the browser, but it was a bit strange. But all I did was change it from double quotes to single quotes, but I don't think that actually fixed the problem. So I'm just going to come back and set it back to double quotes. And now it's there. So it had nothing to... I have no idea, guys, what happened. All I did was go back and change it from double quotes to single quotes, thinking that might have been the problem. I mean, it wasn't. So, interesting one there. Look, it works. Okay, so it is doing now what I expected it to. It's put the 0 in front as padding, and then it's still printed out the 5 digits at the end there, okay? And basically, that's all you really need to know about the formatting, because the format's the same. It's always digit to the left, then the minimum digit on the right, and the maximum digit. So if you want to make sure that it could go to 0, it could be a whole number or a digit up to 5 decimal places on the right, you could have it like that, okay? So it's if it has any decimal numbers, it will accept it. It'll accept it up to 5 decimal places. If it doesn't, then it'll just print out a whole number. In fact, let's have a quick look at this. If I get rid of, let's do just 3, okay? If I come back, and what you see is you'll get 3 here because we had a minimum to start off with of 0 digits. This one we padded and made sure it had to be 5, so it puts 5 zeros. And then for this one, we said we can have a minimum of 0, so it just printed out 03, okay? So I'll put that back to 3.141592. And we'll move on, okay? So the next one we're going to look at, which is kind of similar to decimal, it's called currency, so it's obviously dealing with money. So we'll go H1, we'll go to currency pipe. And for this one, I'm just going to demonstrate a few examples. So firstly, let's see what the default version of this. So I am currently spending, that's right, I need to create something called money, which is what I was trying to do earlier. I was kind of jumping ahead of myself. So let's go back to the component. Let's create a money variable, and we'll set it to 2500.50 cents. Okay, and we'll save that. And we've set the default currency here, so let's see what that shows us. We come down, and basically it says we've made USD $2,500. So it's telling us by default when we use the currency pipe what the currency code is. Now I find this very inefficient and a bit silly. I'm surprised they even went with that, but that's what it does. But we can actually remove that USD. But before I do that, I want to actually get it to my currency. I want it to say AUD instead of USD. So how do I do that? Well, it's just a parameter on the pipe. Oops. I'm just going to grab this line. And for the next one, I want to spend, because I'm from Australia, I want to spend money, but I want to use the currency to be AU dollars. So let's save that, take a look. And there we go, AU dollars. So that's what I want to spend, but I'm currently spending more money because the US dollar is much stronger than Australia's right now. That, it's actually, I think it's 77 US cents to 1 Aussie dollar, I think right now. I can't remember, but it's something like that. So yes, I want to actually spend less than that and spend 2,500 Australian dollars, but so far we're not doing that out of the box. Okay. So moving on from that, that's how you can change the currency code. If I want to hide the AUD or the USD, we can do that. So I can grab the top one here. And then I'll put, but I would personally like to write it as, right? So we have currency. We still have to specify the currency formats, which I'm going to put as USD just to do this for now. I'll explain in a minute why I'm putting USD. And another reason why I hate this thing, and yes, I don't use the currency pipe for Angular 2 projects just because it doesn't give what I want. Now, this next flag is to say, do I want to include the full USD text at the front of the currency? So I'm going to say, do we want to remove it? Sorry. Do we want to remove the USD in front of the currency. And so I'm going to say true and save that. So if I come over and I check it now, you'll see the USD is gone and it's just showing the dollar symbol. You're thinking, okay, that's fine. What's the problem, Daryl? Here's the problem. If I come in and I change it to AUD, right, and I save, instead of just giving me a dollar symbol, it puts a stupid A in front of it because it's Australian, right? And that's really not what we want. Like, I don't want that. Australians don't write in their websites A and then a dollar after it. You know, that's not how we do it. We do it the same as in America. So for me to ever show Australian dollars based on this pipe, I have to use USD, which is really, really stupid. But anyway, that's just something that maybe Angular hasn't worked out yet, or maybe, I don't know. It doesn't matter. This is how it works at this stage. Now, the last option is the format of the numbers, which is the same as the decimal pipe. In fact, it's using the exact same format. So what we can do is we can specify how many numbers we want after the decimal point and before the decimal point, and then it'll do like a rounding of that. So if I want to come in now, I'm going to copy this, and I'll come to the next line, and I'll write, but I also like to work in whole dollars. So I get rid of the decimal point here is 1 point. So, and then I'll put it is on the end. So how do we format it? Well, I shouldn't have to say much here. We just do it the same decimal format we have. So the minimum is, in our case, we'll say 1. And then the maximum is going to be 0. Sorry, the minimum to the right is going to be 0. And the maximum to the right is also going to be 0. So we're not having any decimal points to the right, which means it will round up. So currently we had $2,500.50. It should now round up to $2,501. Let's go and check that out. And that's what it's done. Okay. So that's the currency pipe. There's a couple more to go. Yeah, 3 more to go. It's going to be a long video, but that's okay because you guys really need to know how these pipes work. So next one, we're going to do what's referred to as the percent pipe. This one is really easy. In fact, it uses the same format, or it gives you the ability to change the number format the same as the decimal format. And then basically it just times any number by 100 and puts a percentage at the end. That's essentially all it does. So we go P/P, and we'll go my current tax rate is, and I'm going to put in tax, and we'll specify it as a percent. Right, and new line, like so. Now I'll go and create this tax variable. So tax rates are usually specified of between 0 and 1. So the tax in this case will be 0.375 for me in Australia. I pay 37.5 cents of each dollar, which, yes, maybe in some other countries would be like, oh God, that's a lot of money. Yeah, that's just how much we pay. So we come over. So it should say 37.5%. Right, because it's taken the 0.375 and times it by 100, right, and then it's whacked the percentage on the end. Okay, now I don't like this 5 on its own. I like to have 50. So just like the decimal pipe, I can basically come in, I can get this line, right, come to the next line and go, my formatted tax rate is, and then go percent, and once again the same number format. So I'm going to allow the minimum of 1 to the left, and we're going to allow, you know, a minimum of 2 to the right with a maximum of 2 to the right, and save. And then we come over and we come down and we can see now it has 50. Okay, nothing special there, no big deal. Next one is the Json pipe. And yes, it's exactly what you think it's going to be. It takes your object that you have in memory, and it spits out JSON. So how does this work? Let's have a look. It's really, really simple. Here is your details in JSON format. All right. And then we'll come in and I'll go details, which I'll create an object for, pipe JSON, just like so. And then I'll come over to I'll come over and create a details property. And inside that details property, we'll just have an object for the moment. I'm going to create two properties. So last name and first name, and my name is Daryl. So by rights, it's now going to look at this array, this object, and it's going to spit out JSON that represents that object. Okay, so let's have a look at that. We'll come down, and there it is, just as we specified in our code. It's splashed on the screen, and that's all there is to it. The JSON, there's no other parameters or anything like that. That's all you have to type. Now the last one is a little tricky, and it'll take a little bit to understand, but it's basically called the slice pipe, and it is kind of like how you would perceive slicing in arrays and things like that. And essentially that's what it is. You either slash arrays, or you can slash a string. Now for this one, I'm slashing a string, right? But you can do exactly the same thing I'm doing now for items in an array. Okay, and it will basically reduce what's in the array down by whatever you slice it on, and then you can format it. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go P, and I'm going to come and create a name property over here. I'm going to go name equals, and I'm just going to put my name in there, just like so. And so the first thing we can do is we can slice the name that I just provided, starting with the starting point. Okay, where we're going to start slicing from, or sorry, where we're going to, so what is the starting point of slice from the 0 index? It's very hard to explain. I'll just quickly do it. So slice 5 letters off, and then we go name, right? And then we go slice, slice, right? And we have to give it a parameter. Now this parameter here is basically from index 0, how many positions up do we want to go, right? Or how many positions from the starting point are we going before to the point where we're slicing it? Yeah, that's probably the best way I can explain it. So just say you've got the word Daryl, for example, and I'm saying I'm going to put a slice value of 3. It's going to remove the letters D-A-R and just keep the letters Y-L, right? So for the case of Daryl, right, because it's 5 letters, if I want to remove my whole name, I have to remove the first 5 letters, okay? I think that's the best way I can explain it at this point. It's pretty tricky to explain. You just have to basically do this in order to get a brief understanding. I think I've explained it right, but anyway, I come over, and if I come down, you can see it's taken away the word Daryl, and it's got the word Duck Manton, okay, which happens to be my second name. Now, this number was within the range of the number of characters that we have, okay? So for the number of characters we have here, we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, right? So that's an index of 15, right? So the maximum index is 15. What if I, for whatever reason, decide to slice beyond that number? What do you think is going to happen? Right? The answer is, so if I put here 20, right, so what is actually going to happen is it's going to slice out everything. It's not going to say this is the wrong index, you've gone beyond the size of of the name, it's just going to sit there and go, oh, you've specified higher than the amount of letters that are in the text. We're just going to cut it all out. So basically, it's going to slice out all letters. Alright, so let's have a look at that. And as you can see, there's nothing there because we've gone beyond the length of the string. So it doesn't break, it just returns nothing. However, what if you wanted to remove the end of a string? Right? Just say you wanted to remove my last name, for example. So you wanted to keep my first name, but you wanted to remove my last name. Now we can't do it with these two here, right? But we can still do it. And how we do it is we use negative number. So if we come in and we change this to -10, the slicing will begin from the end of the string now instead of the start of it. Okay, so we'll go from the N in Duck Mountain, it'll go 10 characters inward. So it'll go 10 characters inward. From there, it'll start at the D for Duck Mountain, and then it'll cut off all the other letters after that point. You know, so that's kind of how it works. So basically, we're slicing out. No, sorry. I think I've thought of this wrong. I think it's the other one. I think it is slice out everything but the last 10 letters. Sorry, I think that's what it is. That's what I said. This is very confusing. Slicing out everything but last 10 letters. So we'll save this. Come over. And yes, I was right. It sliced out all bar the last 10 letters. My bad, my mistake. If we want to do it after we've been 10 letters in, right? So there are two ways to do that, obviously. We can just put in the value slice 9. And remember, 9, it has to be 9 because 9, it's a 0 index system. So we can use slice 9. Or what we can do is we can specify a starting point and an ending point. Okay, so how do we do this? What we do is we go, I want to start from the 0 position and I want to end at the 9th position. So starting from 0, you can move in to the 9th index, and it's not a count of 9, because if that was the case, it would be the 8th index. This is the 9th index, so it is in fact a count of 10. Okay, just keep that distinction. It's not a count, it's an index. And so I'm going to say it slices out everything after being 10 letters in. So after being 10 letters in. I think. Actually, again, confusing. And I'm getting an error again, nothing's showing up. It's been 10 letters in here. I'm sure it's... Not sure why it's just not showing up again. Oh, there we go. Okay, so when we put in two parameters, we're actually saying what we want to keep here. We want to keep from 0 to 10 letters in, and then we're cutting out everything else. So we're keeping that slice. Sorry, that's how it works. My bad. And sorry, it's been a while since I've used the slice pipe. I really don't use it all that much, so it's hard for me to remember from time to time, but I'm trying to. And I think throughout the course, I haven't made too many mistakes in terms of remembering stuff, so you must forgive me. So now if I want to slice out the last 5 digits, right, last 5 letters, sorry, we can do this, I think, by saying from 0, right, so from 0, turn around, go the opposite way, and that's where we're going to end. 5 digits, 5 letters in from the right. So that's our ending point. So in the case of an index system, it's basically index position 10. So it'll have my name, my full name minus the last 5 letters of my name, okay? That's essentially what's going to happen here. So we're slicing out the last 5 letters. Okay, let's check that out. And there we go. So that one worked. I got that one right. Just a few more I'll have to think about. And guys, I haven't really prepared this one. I just kind of went on a whim. If you want to slice out no letters at all, but you want to use 2 parameters, just to show that it won't break, like this one up here. So that one sliced out all letters. This one sliced out no letters. Okay. So to do that, you make it -20. So that's one option. So if I come in, you'll see when it refreshes, if it refreshes, which doesn't look like it's refreshing at this point. Let's give it another crack. There we go. Keeps my full name, alright, because I went beyond the length of the string, but I went the opposite way. So it's like, oh, well, okay, you went the opposite way, so you're actually saying you want to keep everything. Whereas if you go positive, you're saying, oh, I want to remove everything. So it's just a distinction there. And the other way you can write this too, with 2 parameters, is to go from 0 to -20. And this will also slice out nothing. And you'll also, oh, wait a minute. Apparently it does. I think with, oh yeah, sorry. That, not negative. Yeah, sorry, my bad. If you do a negative for 2 parameters, it's going to actually slice out all letters. If I come down here and I go 0 to -20, it'll slice out all the letters. Okay, very confusing, this concept. It is using the, I believe it's using Splice or something behind the scenes to do this, but I think it's being a little bit more careful so it doesn't break your application. I'm just trying to think, is there anything else that I want to specify? We'll just specify a specific range, just to confirm that this works. So I'm going to go from, let's say, the first index all the way to the second last letter. So it should have Aral Duckmanto, I think. Aral Duckmanto. Slice out first and last letter. Aral Duckmanto. Duckmant. Okay, sorry, my bad. 15. Yeah, Duckmanto. Yeah. So that's it, guys. There are some more pipes that are there. As I said, they're more to do with language and pluralization, which is kind of more of an advanced topic. And there's also one to do with asynchronous, which I didn't cover simply because I wouldn't really use it and I wouldn't recommend to use it. But in the next video, we'll create our own pipes and we'll talk about something called pure and impure pipes, you know, and what that does in terms of your application, especially around the concept of a lot of the do check events. Basically, when you do an import, when you either focus into an import or you enter a letter into a field or something like that, it affects what happens with the pipes. So you've got to be very careful on how you write your pipes so that you don't have very poor performance. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go. I'm probably just going to rest now. I would like to have some weekend now. It's 5 o'clock on a Saturday, and I might go and play some games for a while and actually just relax. So I will see you all probably tomorrow. I'll probably build up the next video tomorrow and put it up for you guys. Until then, I'll see you all later.